Oh, friggin' rights, boys. I was just out here friggin' yanking the axle out of this friggin' jonder and friggin' figured, oh, let's grab the camera and make a movie in accordance to, you know, I make movies and stuff, right? So in other words, friggin', there's just like a clip, well, there's like 4 bolts, and then you take them out, and then friggin' they're right there, and then you take that clip off the end, and then you can pull this whole side off, and of course that horse shit fall out of there and different things, and so I should in accordance be able to just pull that out now. So I'll probably clean up that shaft, and then I'll be able to slide some shit off this end, and then I'll put that in the press and poke that out without killing myself, hopefully, is the plan. For frig sack, eh? Should have just put a little friggin' dollop of grease on there when they assembled it on the fucking jonder plant. That's what I figure. But in other words, friggin' just gonna friggin' cigarette butt that side, and then we'll teach. Friggin' rights I did. So onwards, friggin' I just mouse milked them. Love that kind of big time. I mouse milked the other ends, and it didn't do fuck all. So now I got a little bit of a drink on the other end there. You know, just leave her. You know, like patient, right? So friggin', rather than just beat the shit out of her and wreck it, you know, I think these things here are pinched on, but it could be stuck in, but there's like a little seam in there, so worst case I just heat it up with the torch and bend it off of there. But in other words, friggin', well, that's friggin' off on me. What were we doing? Yeah, finding a tape measure and a friggin' marker, and I'm pretty much going to measure the legs here. So we'll say it's close enough to 21. So at 21 inches for friggin' my sack, we'll friggin' we'll make a mark, and we'll do a almost through cut, but not quite. Beg me for Don. So that's what I meant when I said almost through, because we went almost through. So if we just take that like that, just give her the old off the top turnbuckle, and then we got a kink into it in accordance. And then we do the same to the Whitward side. We can stomp on it a little bit. And then we got a double kink. We just weld them up so it's in accordance to that they're the same. Because like, you know, see that they're not the same. Watch. Pinch that side, you know, and then they're not the same, right? So we'll make them both the same. And then we'll have to figure out which word goes which word. It'll go like something like quit, except for, you know, obviously the legs will sit right on top. Back a little bit. Put that like Whitward. Not like Whitward. And then we'll have like le taper frame, but you know, so as we got in accordance to the wheels, but so as to not in accordance with, you know, cocking over the program. Because see, this was in accordance to when I built this thing. I was too stupid to friggin' to make it so it's like when you turn that it didn't totally friggin' like, you know, stop the wheel. Like this wheel is totally gonna stop because it's touching the, you know, the frame. Whereas if it had an accordance to the purpose, you know, it would not do that, right? So that's where we're going with that. So it'll be just a little bit more inward, and yeah, more Austeners frig. So I'll put a bar across here and a bar across there, and then we'll put like a plate, you know, going Whitward to Whitward to mount the engine onto. And then we'll drill two holes, mount the pillow blocks, weld that end right to the face of that, and the face of that. So, you know, it's like, this one over here's got like the pivot steer, but no need. That's just get cattywampus. See how the edge over there and then the edge over there is like knotward because it's all twisted in accordance. So like freak's sake, right? Oh my goodness, trapped in the tractor horde. But in other words, so I was thinking friggin' I could possibly take these pillow blocks and just friggin' stab them on Whitward and then put the axle all back together just like I took it apart, and just not have to worry about pressing off these ends. But of course the dimensions of the fucking sack is not going to allow for this to happen in accordance to, well, a bunch of reasons really, but might be able to get away with you know, cutting 3/4 of an inch off the backward side of the cigarette butt here, you know, or whatever it ends up being. I'm just guesstimating at the 3/4 inch mark, but you know, if I get this bullshit off and a bunch of other, you know what I mean, and then cut this off and then put it back on so it comes on and off, but then, you know, the backspace of the tire, where the tire is, might come into accordance. Oh yeah, big time. That's not gonna work. That ain't gonna work. You know, with the frame that wide. Son of a man's dick. I'm seeming to remember having to extendify the axles on this one here too, in accordance to, oh yeah, big time. I think I added like friggin', you know, 3 inches or 4 inches or something to the end of the stovepipe there in accordance. So not a big deal. I can totally do that to this and whatever. I just got to get these off of there. So we're just letting them seep and soak and greasify and chuchify, so then hopefully they'll just come out, and then I'll just chamfer the end there and we'll put another piece on and this and that, and you know, I'll have to do some measuring. I'll have to figure it out or whatever, not a big deal. Oh, friggin' rights, boys. I don't even know what's been going on. We had a pretty action-packed friggin' last hour. I got the friggin' the parts cut, so you know, you're gonna need a Whitward and a Whatward and a stovepipe and a was a bling bling, so you know what I mean? That's pretty much the frame. I might need to cut, you know, a couple more pieces of this shit in accordance to, you know, I got like this where, you know, figure the center of the axle should be, so I'll get a little piece, 1 inch in accordance to, if you'll notice over Whitward, we got the 2 inch chassis, and we got less than 1 inch between the Whitward and the Whatward in here. So if we fucking have a 1 inch and it's the same Whitward, we're gonna bumpy, right? So, and of course we gotta have the bolts for the engine out of the Whitward. You can see the, oh, maybe you can't see the tolerances. In other words, there's some tolerances involved, you know what I mean? But had this awesome idea, right? Like I got this freaking great big press, right? So it's like only the first 2 levels worked in accordance to, like, I don't know, the cable must have snapped or something and they cut it and resigated it, but I had new cable, right? Plug 1 had new kind and friggin' new ends and shit. I just took a chisel. So I like to chisel the shit out of them, little pattern in the chisel department there, whatever, and then it really pinches them on there. I mean, it's not to hold anything, it's just to friggin', you know, raise and lower the friggin' bed of the friggin' press or whatever, right? So in other words, friggin', where were we? Oh yeah, I was friggin', you know, I needed to adjust it right down to the bottom in accordance to, I had a plan to get these friggin' cigarette butts off the friggin' hexils, right? And then while I'm doing it, I'm thinking, well, you know, I could probably just get a piece of friggin' shaft and, you know, friggin' cigarette butt the ends like that to make it in accordance, and then, you know what I mean, not have to deal with this. But look what I've done. Look what I've done. Can you sound it? I friggin', this piece of pipe will fit, like, you know, over that friggin' pressed on stupid thing, and then like it fits on there pretty snug. But what I think I ended up doing was just using it like a punch. I just like punched out the friggin' washers into accordance and then flared the end of the pipe over top of the Whitward. So now we got even more cigarette butts. I'm gonna have to take a grinder and friggin' cut this all off. It doesn't matter because there's like this little thing in there, so I won't get into the frig sacner. So I'll cut that off, and fuck around, but it's getting late and I'm not doing that tonight. Beg me pardon. And if I did just get a new axle, then I could friggin' make it longer as I wanted or without or a jointer into it. Because, you know, I mean, regardless of what you do, if you friggin', you know, Whitward a stovepiper onto the end of an axle, like this axle. If I just take this and I needed it longer and I had a piece and I friggin', you know, chamfered the edge and welded on this and that, I could make it longer, but it would be better if it was one piece. You know what I mean? But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what I can come up with. Hey, there's some friggin' 1 inch. Hey, there's some friggin' 1 inch. I need that kind. Another thing we're gonna need to address them is friggin', we got a little tiny baby, like a friggin' 3 inch or a 4 inch. Yeah, 4 inch friggin' rim on this side. And then a friggin' 5 inch on this side for frig sack. So that's friggin' bull's dick, you know? So friggin' we'll have to find Whitward or the Whatward. Beg me pardon, but maybe the other jonder friggin' has one that'll match. I don't know, but we just about got all the parts out of her. I'm gonna keep this friggin' cog in accordance to referencing the friggin' holeward department and different things. So friggin', yeah, and then this friggin' band brake, you know, keep it around, it ain't hurting nothing. You know, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking to just going with the straight axle, because this is bullshit, one reason, right? This is complete bullshit. Second reason is, you know, this one lasted friggin', you know, 10, 15 years, but the first friggin' 5 years, well, yeah, it's about almost 11 years ago I built this friggin' thing. So, like, you know, but the first friggin' 5 of them, I hardly rode it, you know what I mean? So friggin', and then I had to weld it, and then it's like take apart, a bunch of bullshit. You know, you have to friggin' have shit in a certain Whitword, right? Because of the friggin', you know what I mean? Like you can make, you know, when you extend them, you can friggin', you know, make one side a little bit longer and this and that or whatever to friggin' move this friggin' cigarette butt over. But, you know, this cog's way too big, so I'm gonna have to friggin' buy another cog anyways, right? And then they come with weld-on cigarette butts, whereas this, the hole in the center of the cog that you buy at pig iron is too small, and these cogs are like super hard. So to drill these holes and this and that, it's like a super big pain in the dick. And different things, like I had to have Nelson do it, right? Because he's got the technologies and the friggin' the cigarette butt and the appliance word department, right? So friggin', but you know, and then if I do all this bullshit and then I friggin', it's like, well, fuck, I might as well eliminate this differential bullshit altogether and just go straight axle, because friggin', then I got 2 1-inch axles, we could go 1 inch. And then, you know, but then I'm gonna have the same problem as before, is in accordance to friggin' trying to find wheels with a 1-inch cigarette butt into them, right? Like a keyed 1-inch cigarette. Like we got that one over there, but that's like a front one, and you know, it's like we get the 1-inch cigarettes are like huge, like those ones and stuff, 12-inch, no good, right? So it's like, fuck sakes. So I got some thinking to do. Maybe I'll call the dicks down at friggin' Russell Carts and see if they want a friggin' cigarette butt up a friggin' an axle to inwood. But onwards, boys. Probably gonna have to call her a cigarette. Got like the friggin' steering word department. That's 3/4 inch solid bar, and that's the cigarette butt off the jonder. So friggin' that's 3/4 inch cigarette butt. I'll just friggin' cut a little keyway in there. Was a bling bling. And stuff like that. Of course, I'll have to friggin' make a mount and weld it all up and this and that. We're just in the accordance purposes right now. Beg my pardon. I was talking to this friggin' go-kart stick, you know, that's got all this friggin' go-kart parts and whatnot. And I was saying about maybe putting a kit together and stuff with, you know, the spindles and all the little steering bits that you would need, so that, you know, all you'd have to really do is find some 1-inch tubes, some friggin' 5-inch, friggin' 1/4 inch thick flat friggin' plate, and a friggin' chair, and then you could just, you know, weld together your own friggin' lawn chair, and it would have all the other bits, you know, all the brackets and all the bits and all the pieces that you would need, other than, you know, this shit that you could get anywheres and would be, you know, too much to ship sort of thing. But let me know what you think about that in the comments section below. And I am going to cheat, so beg my pardon for that. But onwards, boys, we're getting a good go on the friggin' redneck launcher. Friggin' generation 4, eh? The 4th generation of the redneck launcher. Beg my pardon for that. But onwards, boys, friggin'. So hopefully we can gather the parts we need and get this banged out quick, like super fast tying, and then we teach. But onwards, boys, friggin' don't forget to check one, pick up a can, get your second generation as a gibberish. Don't forget to like, share for the movie. Have spoken to big time, poking unless I can big time. But anyways, there you go. Another Take a Part 1 production. So until tomorrow.
Don't let the waters get you.